Oh, you're gonna do more. You're gonna do more visuals for our podcast.
I think you told me the other week, like we're all going YouTube. All the podcasts
Yeah,
are starting
yeah.
to just shut down. So it's just going to be
It,
YouTube. So you get great
I,
visuals like
I
this.
I feel like we're silent film stars in the dawning of the talkies, and we're trying to make the transition.
I
Which
promise to show
but
nobody's
before.
personal data on my screen. So we get
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our coach's
no
console.
bullying. We can't bully anybody. But um, I want to lead off
Ooh.
with my dad joke, and because it's
Oh,
so like it's so not of the season, like it's so past at this point. But why don't monsters eat ghosts?
well, it's not all that far off season. We're not that far beyond.
We're already in Christmas. People are already putting up Christmas trees.
That did hit me square in the face as I walked into the grocery store today. All the Christmas candy and scented pine cones was absolutely there. It's just my way of delaying trying to think of an answer to your dad joke,
you're,
Sean.
you're
I'm not going to get it.
stalling so
I'm not going to
bad.
get it.
So why don't monsters eat ghosts?
I don't know, Sean.
Because they taste like sheet.
And we just got kicked off YouTube. There you go. All right. Well, I will save mine to the end just because we got to give someone, our listeners, something to wait for. So.
Exactly. So I led off with mine. How's it going, Brian?
It's going pretty good. Anytime you get to spend your weekend, we're recording this on a Sunday night, get to spend your weekend with mountain bikers. Good weekend in my book. And I think you did the same, right, John?
Yeah, yeah, but we did it in two different ways in two different venues. So what were you up to this weekend?
So a second grit event of the season. We now have our two under our belt. It was a week ago. I was out in Wilkesboro for the first grit event. Great trail system out there. Had a really good time. Beautiful fall weather out there. The colors were definitely in bloom, so to speak. But that was the fall trail masquerade. And then just this past weekend, yesterday up in Medoc Mountain, we had been there before last season for the Disco Fever event with the grit crew. A little bit chillier that morning, 34 degrees as we got up there at the Medoc Mountain, but turned out to be a great day. And so yeah, great weather for both, and just great seeing all the girls again coming together for the season.
That's cool. I've seen some cool pictures that have been going up that that Shell's been putting out, and I saw one of Ron Chaney doing.
Oh boy, this may become like a league favorite. Like, I'm sorry for anyone that didn't get to these two great events. I'm sorry you missed what was a fantastic skit from Leonard Van Hoos. He is our new Teen Trail Corps committee coordinator. So he's helping run our Teen Trail Corps program. And then Ron Chaney, both from Stanley Shredders. And if you recall, Stanley Shredders put in a ton of field trail work last season. So they put on a skit, basically teaching the girls tools on the trail. Identify, name them, how to dress for trail work, how to stay safe out on the trail, and it's just. I won't do it justice just in terms of the Rocket Ron character that Ron Chaney played to just make it funny and make it engaging. And so we kicked off both of those great events with the Teen Trail Corps skit, and just a
Oh,
really
nice.
good, yeah, just tell everyone, hey, this is part of being a mountain biker, taking care of the trails we get to ride on, and just leaning in a little bit to our 3,000 hour goal for trail work this season. But
Cool.
yeah, very very well received by everyone in attendance. Those guys are pretty.
Nice. Nice. That sounds like fun. So yeah, I did a OTBS 101 for one of our new schools. So kind of take a moment to talk about some of our new teams that are coming on board. Asheville School, which is a private school in Asheville. They are fielding a team. Very excited. The school is really behind it. They have a bunch of really unique programs. They have a mountaineering program. It looks like they do a lot with experiential education, which is kind of right in our wheelhouse. And went and did an OTBS 101 for them. They have 3 coaches that are going to be starting that program out. They're really excited. And then Cabarrus County is spinning off new teams left and right. They've got two with Hope Academy and Concord High, and Durham County has a new school-based team that they've spun out, and that's Riverside High School. And Wake County has one, the Broughton Magnet School. So, more teams coming on board as we've had, some contraction of some teams. We've had some expansion of other teams, some breaking off and splitting out, kind of the normal ebb and flow, but, looking really good. And then, we had perfect weather for our OTBS 101. It was great. Got to see a really cool campus that has lots of topography. Like when you talk about ideal short course, like it was amazing.
Nice.
And we were setting up for the normal skills instruction stage, just setting up the runway and the stage. Like we kept having to readjust to get it to where it was somewhere that was like slightly inclined, because everything we did, like at one point it felt like I was in the start hub of a downhill. Like I felt like I'm just gonna release the brakes and just go shooting down. Like I'm not gonna need to pedal, nothing. Like it's just gonna be awesome acceleration. But it was
Climbing
like a
and
little too
ascending
fast.
dismounts must
Yeah.
have been awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely just like everything was there, like topography wise. So it was very cool.
Yeah, nice.
Great weather. Like I don't know about how you guys were, but it was coolish in the mornings, but man, 70s, just kind of ideal autumn
Yeah,
weather.
we started pretty chilly, but finished the day just absolutely fantastic, absolutely beautiful. And I'll tell you, skills training was a theme this weekend. Then, so let me mention the Grit Ambassador has been doing a great job. So these two events, a lot of the ambassadors have led a lot of the activities, and so for this past one, we had Ada Watson gather us adult coaches around and help do some skills training with the girls. That's a great preseason activity. So you'll appreciate this, Shawn. Did some cornering work, practice some starts, really good stuff. And so it was nice to see Ada step up and as her ambassador project for the season, working on skill work. The last grid event, just as an example, and all the ambassadors are doing great, but these two kind of stuck in my head. Skylar Arnold is leading the Grit Mentor program. So yeah, brand new girls to the league, come on in, be mentored, be welcome to the league. And let me put a plug in for that now. Just if you are a new female student athlete in this league, please sign up for the mentor program. That information is in the Grit Coach resource folder. Link to that on the website. We find those mentored athletes coming back a time and time again, just because they have a good introduction into the league. So yeah, it's just great seeing the Grit ambassadors exercising a lot of leadership within this program. That was a consistent theme across the two Grit event systems. It's just great to see.
Awesome. And I decided to spend the rest of the weekend in kind of the Brevard area and got to go check out a new trail to me. Went up and did Chestnut Mountain, which a lot of people may have be familiar with from Berm Peak. The whole Berm Park area was very cool. So that was a really cool place to ride. The trails were really amazing. Like there was some really cool stuff. There was one of the newer trails that was just a ripping descent and a surprising amount of climbing. Like they don't shy away from the fact that you got to go up to go down. So in about an hour and a half, we ended up climbing about 1,500 feet of elevation. So doing multiple laps of things. So that was very cool. But it was very crowded. Like there was a lot of people there. So it seemed like part of that whole idea of like building mountain bike trails as a way of attracting people to smaller towns. Like Canton is a small town and was built around the paper mill. The paper mill is closing, and so now there's this amenity, and there were license plates from all over the country. Like it was amazing. Like that was a destination that people were intentionally stopping at as they did some big road trip to Pisgah or something like that. So that was very cool to see.
That was pretty cool. I think I just saw a GMBN episode with Burn Park on there.
Yeah.
So that word is definitely getting out. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
pretty
definitely.
for sure.
Well, season 8 registration,
It's
like
it's a thing.
wheels are in motion.
The data matches what I'm hearing. I love getting out to any of our events because I get to talk to coaches and I get to talk to parents and certainly the student athletes. And there's a common refrain I'm hearing from some of the coaches like, wow, we have a lot of new kids signing up. this season. Great, good sign, awesome, love it. But today now I looked at Pit Zone this morning. We're at 453 registered student athletes. That is well ahead of where we were last season. I think you were making the point, Shawn. A lot of those are high school athletes that usually come later in the registration season. And so, yeah, good sign. 129 new ones, which matches that data point. I'm hearing just from a lot of coaches are getting a lot of new kids signing up. So that's fantastic. Awesome to see. More kids on bikes is the mission. And more kids signing up is more kids on bikes. So, yeah, pretty happy to see that.
Is this the year that we break 900?
Oh, I was going to say 1,000, but sure.
So 900 is it's like we stalled just below 900. So
Yep.
breaking 900 feels like it's doable. And you're saying 1,000. That's your stretch goal, or that's your conservative goal?
We're on pace to do it.
Okay.
Right. We're on pace to do it. Like I say, like we mentioned, you get all those middle schoolers that typically are signing up at this point to come to the table. Then yeah, we're going to be pretty close to 1,000, I think. But we'll see.
Awesome.
Still early. We're just over a month into it. So, well, you and I have gone through the team preseason approval forms. A lot are try it out rides and team meetings and interest meetings and all those. So, there's still another month or so of those type of engagements out there with the teams to get some folks to sign up.
Awesome. I am wrestling with a cat who's trying to get in the middle of everything. All right. Everybody wants to be a part of things this year, apparently.
Excellent.
So you've got something new getting ready to go happen. We're getting ready to open up event registration, and you've got some different things that you want to talk about with event registration for this year.
So for our YouTube watchers, I just changed the background on the screen to our event schedule.
Well, at this point, if you're going to describe them, then it's also for anyone listening to the podcast.
But I'm not going to walk through each date. They're going to have to actually watch this thing.
Okay.
Going through the trouble of putting the screen on. But yes, I do have the event schedule behind me. I think most folks know we announced that the last podcast. That's been on the website for a while. What we'd like to announce here is on 13 November, we will open registration for those events. So let me start just by saying, go to the website for how event registration will work for the season. I've laid it out. If you go to the Ride Now tab at the top and then scroll down to Register to Ride, you will see the event registration section on there, which lists a couple different ways you can register for events this season. So this is what's new. Just like always, you can register by event. You can decide, hey, I can only make it to 3 of 4, whatever it is, you can register by event. There's no change there, except for one caveat. Event 6, our state championship, is a qualifying championship. So that won't open until probably the week or so before. We'll come out of that last race, the 5th race, and then we'll open up the season championship for that. But all the others, they're going to open 13 November, and you can register for each one individually if you like. Let me say right now, there will be no refunds to our events. So take your time. It's great if you're sure and you want to risk that, but event registration will close like it did last season, the Sunday prior to that weekend occurring. So if you want to wait and see what the weather calls might look like, please wait. So there is time for that. Okay, here's what's new, Shawn. And again, I've laid this out on the website, but if anyone has any questions, please info@northcarolinamtb.org. Shoot me a question, and I'm thinking through, maybe Shawn will put out an iterable email Monday, just laying this all out for everyone. But we have basically a discount package. If you go into BitZone and sign up, as you check out for your student athletes, sign up for every available event. So that's 6 of them, 6 total. Again, not that state championship, but the 5 regular season races and that end of season festival. It's only $140 compared to $35 for each event. So you're paying for 4 and getting 6. So we're going with a discount package this season. Again, that will be open 13 November. Just again, pay attention. select all 6 events in pit zone. When you check out, that discount is applied, and that's when you'll see the $140. Again, if anyone has any questions about that, info@, northcarolinamtb.org, and we'll walk you through that. But we thought that was a fairly attractive option for folks. Just if you're pretty committed, you know you're going to be there, we'll charge you a little less for signing up early to those type of things. That will expire when we close that first event registration for Browns Creek. Discount goes away. But again, there's time for that. You can wait until, February to sign up for that discount package.
Awesome. That sounds attractive. And also, like, just to speak to cancellations, like, we do everything we can not to cancel. Like, we did some really creative things last year in order to have events when it looked like they needed to be canceled. But cancellations are always a last resort. It's not getting up and going, it might rain this weekend, let's go ahead and cancel. Like, it's a fraught process. So you can feel rest assured that we're going to do everything we can to make an event happen if it's at all humanly possible.
This staff really racks its brain to try and pull things off. It was amazing to see it last season. We took some up to the last minute trying to pull some things off, but a lot of times, like we've said before, the venue manager will win. It's their venue or safety, and it's just we can't put 500 kids on a sloppy, freezing course.
Yep,
is what we ran into last season. But again, so 13 November, we'll open up those events for registration. And again, you got a little bit of time, but we wanted to let folks sign up if they felt compelled to do so.
Awesome. Well, you've been working hard on the sponsorship stuff, and you've got yet another new sponsor, kind of a returning sponsor.
Yeah, returning sponsor, but let me change video background one more time, Shawn, because now I know how to do it, and I'm dangerous because I've got some level of training to do this. But Fidlock came on as a sponsor last season, specifically to support our adventure program. And some of our listeners might remember seeing them at a couple of our events last season. Fidlock is known for the magnetic bottle attachments. So really easy to click your bottle on and off to your bike because it's got a magnetic attachment, and they make some bags, same type of thing, a magnetic lock to your bike. So last season we thought, pretty good adventure sponsor, be equipped for the adventure with your magnetic locks. And so they came on board last season. This season have agreed to sponsors again. Thank you very much, Fidlock. And the reason I put the cover the adventure passport behind me is because on the back of each adventure passport, every student athlete will get, you will see the Fidlock logo with a QR code that will take you to their website. So you can go check out all their amazing products. And we will see them at the Whitewater Center on 18 November for our first adventure event. They will come on site and have some products there for folks to take a look at and the like, and it'll be great. So thank you, Fidlock, for being a sponsor again this season to our adventure program.
And something I didn't know when I went to the first event that they were at, which was Browns Creek, and I was like, oh, I've seen, I've seen people talk about this. Like I'd seen YouTubers talk about them, and he was like, look at your helmet. And so my helmet had a magnetic closure, and he was like, we made that. And I flip it over, and sure enough, it says Fidlock on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, they're legit. Like, they've been around. They're making stuff for, I think I had a Fox helmet on, and it had that closure, or maybe it was a Giro, but it was a helmet. And it was like, yeah, okay. Like, these guys have been making stuff for these bigger companies for a while, and now they're doing stuff on their own, which is pretty cool. And they're supporting us, so that's pretty awesome too.
Yeah, I got a Fidlock bottle on my cross country bike. It's really handy. Swap on and off, clicks right back on there with the magnet. It's a pretty nice piece of gear.
Awesome. Kind of rolling into that, like, definitely want to point out that adventure event number 1 is happening November 18th, and registration for that closes the 15th. So
Correct.
if you're one of the teams that has registered for that, make sure that your student athletes are getting registered for that in pit zone before the 15th. And then the second adventure event is going to be on December 2nd, and that will be, is that Browns Creek again?
That is Browns Creek.
Yeah.
Was just out there today with Shell, our good friend Jeremy Kavanaugh from Cape Fear Sorba. Some folks might know him. Jeremy helped with our timing team last season, just given the venue a preview. I think Shawn, the adventure for Browns Creek. I know, like, well, we go to Browns Creek almost every season. Yeah, but we only race 3 miles of the 16 miles of trail there at Browns Creek. There's a lot to go look at Browns Creek. It's a pretty fun trail system.
Cool. So it'll be fun to see some stuff that we don't normally see, because we've just kind of stuck to the same beaten path. And so to see some more stuff will be very cool.
Pretty much. I think some commonalities across both of those adventure events. One, still space. So yeah, still, if you're interested, please sign up for those events. Both venues have a camping option, both Friday and Saturday night. If you have to travel a little bit to get there, you've got some pretty low cost camping options in both places. And just a reminder, those student athletes will be the first to get that adventure passport for this season. We'll hand those out there, and you can accomplish some of those activities at those adventure events. And so I think, yeah, it'll be interesting. It's a first for us, but as we mentioned several times on this podcast, a lot of signaling through end of season surveys, and certainly my talks with folks for more types of programming in the league. And this is our first try at it. So looking forward to seeing how it goes and getting the feedback from folks.
Yeah, and just as a reminder to head coaches and team directors, remember that these 2 events do not count against your preseason events. So definitely make sure, like, if this is something that you want to do, like, just get registered for it. It's not gonna burn one of your 6 events that you might be already planned out. This would be in addition to that, which would be very cool.
Yep, and because there's space, you can do both. If
yeah,
your team schedule and student athletes want to do it, you can do both. That'd be fine.
And that kind of brings us up to sort of the big thing coming up this coming weekend, kind of into the week and weekend.
Perhaps nothing more adventurous than an 8-hour trip to Maryland for NICA's first ever regional event. So yeah, yours truly. What, Shawn? This will come out tomorrow, Monday, and then I get on the road Tuesday. Going to go help set up on Wednesday and Thursday. So if you don't get email responses from me for most of the week, it's because I'm in a campsite at FairHill, Maryland, helping set up for regionals, and then running it on Friday and Saturday, a day of adventure rides and grit and pre-rides on Friday, and then race series on Saturday. And right now we've got 20 student athletes signed up to head up there to either race or do some of the rides, and a good number of family members headed up, and some of our coaches take care of our student athletes up there. Should be a good time up
cool.
there. We've certainly learned a lot about how to put together a regional event, and we'll see what the future holds in terms of more regionals or perhaps a national type of event. That's what the NICA leadership is talking about right now. So this is a good test to see how it goes. Kind of special for me, to be quite honest with you, Shawn. Want to guess where my very first NICA race was in 2018?
Was it at Patapsco Park?
FairHill, Maryland, exactly.
FairHill, okay.
For the regionals. Yep. Yeah, me and my son Ian, we showed up for our very first NICA race, and that's what hooked us. It was just one of the best run things I'd ever seen. You and I had talked about that before. We showed up to some adult races, and he's like, where do I go? And when do I stage? And no, we just showed up, and John Posner, Fred Powell, the directors up there, just have a good thing going. And so it's good to go kind of back home too this week. So shout out to them for doing a good thing up there in Maryland, helping put this thing together.
You get to go back to your Mickle roots.
My Mickle roots. Well, it's pretty cool. It's community. So the current team director of the team I led up there reached out to me last week, said, hey, where are you guys set up in pit zone? We're ready to help, bring you on in. And that's a mountain biker, Shawn. Like, I just want you to have a good ride. That is the mountain bike community. Whatever the circumstances, let's just get you back on the bike and have a great ride, whether it's a race or a ride, doesn't matter. And so, yeah, that's what we're experiencing. We're doing that across 11 state leagues, just helping everyone have a good ride. So yeah, it should be pretty cool.
That's
looking
awesome.
forward to putting out an event report on it when I get back.
Well, say hello to everyone for me while you're up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're now ready for your dad joke.
It's like what do I call it? Witch's brew. And yes, I'm moving my hands again for all the video viewers, because it's just what I do. Yeah, I tell you, shout out to Maddie Frost. I'll see if this photo surfaces from this past weekend. I was just working with the girls to do basically wheel lifts, Shawn, over a curb or something like that. And the issue came up. Oh, what about flat pedals? Because it's so easy with clipless to bring up. And I said, oh, you gotta do the wedge with your feet to do that. And like Maddie's got some picture of me with my hands and like I'm Top Gun, I'm just inverted. It's just Russell in the hands. So I've got a witch's brew dad joke. So I've combined Halloween and disco, right? Those were our two grit events, Fall Trail Masquerade costumes and disco.
Okay.
So you ready for this?
I can't believe that I'm ready, but yes.
Why didn't the skeleton want to go to the disco?
I have no idea.
Because he had no body to go with. There you go. Monsters, skeletons. Like, we didn't even coordinate that, Shawn. That's the team our viewers and listeners have.
And for everyone who's made it this far in the podcast, that's the payoff right there. That's the money shot. That's what you were waiting for. Now you got it.
Yeah, people are already marking their calendars for early December, for the December.
What will he come up with next?
Yeah, that's right. But before we close, I'll give a shout out to the Grit podcast. Those senior ambassador projects I mentioned, those are the topics of the Grit podcast going forward month. A senior ambassador come on, describe their project. That's good to listen to. So yeah, give them a listen too. Can't promise any dad jokes out of that one, but yeah, they're doing a great job.
I don't know. They started the dad joke thing, and then they sort of dared. I think they dared Michael Eastwood and I to come up with to tell dad jokes that were better than theirs, and that's how
I definitely know the last episode has one on there because yours truly was was the guest.
Because Michael would always text Maddie in the middle of us taping to get his dad joke. So, oh well, it's been a full weekend. Glad we were able to talk about kind of all the cool stuff that's going on. And you're going to be gone for most of next week. You're really good about turning on your email automated responder. That's how I keep a track of where you're at, because
right.
my emails come back and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you can't talk to me. But anyway, have fun in Maryland if I don't talk to you beforehand, and be sure to have a full race report from there for the next podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing our folks up there, and certainly at our next two adventure events right after that, pretty much. So yeah, going to be busy between now and December. It's a good preseason.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.